it's about 10:06. We should be starting at about 10:10. We're just waiting for a few more people to join. So we'll be starting shortly. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to this webinar organized by New Nigeria Foundation. The webinar is on agribusiness opportunities and ideas for youth in Nigeria. My name is Chikodi Chiedo, and it's great to have you all here. First of all, I would like to introduce the Managing Director, CEO of New Nigeria Foundation, Professor Obafemi Ajibola. He will talk about NNF and the objectives of this webinar.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Let me welcome you all to the webinar on agribusiness opportunities and ideas for youth in Nigeria. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to especially thank our special guest, African Farmer Mogaji, for creating the time out of his very busy schedule to honor us and contribute to the development of agriculture in Nigeria. Thank you so very much. Many of us, I can see from the list here, I know about New Nigeria Foundation, but all the same, I will tell for-profit non-governmental organization established in the year 2000, and we've been very active all over the country since our establishment. We're a development agency, so we do work in different sectors of the economy, agri being one of the prominent areas that we have been working since our establishment in 2000. We've done things all over the country in livestock development, in crop development, processing, and all whatnot. Over the years, we've come to the realization that really and truly, if we want agriculture to develop in this country, there are quite a few things that we have to do. One of them being ensuring that we get young people to be very active in the agricultural value chain. And one of the things that we are doing at the moment is to see what, as New Nigeria Foundation, we can do to make that to happen. Of course, we know that current farmers and those involved in the agri sector are aging, and we know that the systems that are operating now are not very conducive for young people, so changes have to take place. And that's one of the reasons that we have this agri initiative with the objective to promote youth interest and participation in agriculture and to develop the capacity of young people to set up sustainable agricultural business. So I'm not going to talk too much because we have a very, very active guest speaker who has been in this business for a long time and has been promoting this idea. So I will say once again, I welcome you all and I will yield the floor to our guest speaker. Thank you so very much for coming, and I wish you very successful deliberation throughout today. Thank you.
Thank you, MD. Before we start, I'd like to set a few ground rules. Please, I would like to implore everyone to kindly mute their mics to minimize interference so that we can hear the speaker when he's talking. And also, if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. And but also, I would like to suggest that we ask our questions at the end of the webinar. So kindly write your questions down, or you can use the chat box when it's time for question and answer. Also, I would like to say that a recorded version of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel, and also we will email the presentations to everyone. So I would like to introduce our guest speaker today, African farmer Mogaji is an agribusiness disruptor, a cereal farmer, a coach, and a mentor with over 23 robust years experience in Nigeria's agribusiness value chain. He is passionate and focused on upgrading young graduates of agriculture and rural youth skills and competence to replace the aging farmers' population in Africa. He is privileged to be a trusted authority and serves as an agribusiness analyst on numerous media platforms such as Channels TV, TVC News, Lagos TV, Business Day newspaper, and Live 5 radio stations. He hosts Agribusiness NG on Lagos Talk 91.3 FM on Mondays at 4:30 p.m. AgriFarmer is a graduate of Lagos Business School, Enterprise Development Center, Faith Foundation, Federal College of Agriculture in Akure, and Federal College of Animal Production and Health, Moore Plantation in Ibadan. He is an Ashoka Fellow, IVLP Fellow, and Cochrane Fellow. He is the current chairman, Agriculture and Agro-Allied Group, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He legally changed his name to African Farmer in August 2005. New Nigeria Foundation welcomes AgriFarmer Mogaji to this webinar on agribusiness opportunities and ideas for youth in Nigeria. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I count it as a privilege to speaking on the platform of New Nigeria Foundation. Good morning, Prof. Prof is an icon, a mentor, and he inspires us all to be different. You hardly find people of his background who move into starting things new. Indeed, an entrepreneur by heart. So thank you, sir. Thank you for championing. Some of us are achieving the little we can because we've seen that things can be done differently. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, today is quite interesting for me. Speaking to youth is something that inspires me. Maybe a little background about me. I started in primary school. I'm not that old, but I started 3 weeks after late Baba Awolowo was buried. That sounds like long years ago, but I started with 30-day-old chicks and I began to nurse it. My parents didn't know. Our house was pretty big compound, and I would start and rear the chicks to 3 weeks. I was advised that to sell it at 3 weeks. I would sell turnarounds. I was doing quick turnaround every three weeks, rearing broiler chicken. And later I moved to what you call cockerel, which is the male. And after 3 weeks, I would sell. And later my dad discovered about 5 months later, I had successfully done that in the house. And 5 months later, he now began to pay me to rear the chicken from day-old chick to maturity. That in itself is 2 business ideas that I just delivered, within my first 5 minutes of presentation. So please listen to me. I'll be sharing from my experience. These are things I have done, not things I read on internet. I found across the country, run personal projects. I've done research across the country, and I will just be pulling out from my experience to share with you. I want to encourage that you listen to this over and over again, because breakthrough comes when you repeat during repetition. So please allow me to, share my screen. Thank you. Okay, so let me check. Fine. Good. Okay, I guess. I'm sorry. Okay, well. Sorry, something is good. Yes, so agribusiness opportunities and ideas for youth in Nigeria. Um, the fact that we have challenges. My favorite quote comes from a book. I read it about 21 years ago, titled Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. It's an evergreen. Almost all the rich and wealthy people I have come across, I've read that book. Name it. From MK Abiola to Dangote, name it. All of them, there's something unique about all the industry leaders of time past and now. They all have read that book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And the quote is, out of every adversity comes a greater or equal opportunity, provided you can find it. Out of every adversity comes a greater or equal opportunity, provided you can find it. If you want to generate ideas at the speed of light, I read that book once every year, sometimes twice, in the last 21 years. You will always generate ideas. It helps you to be ahead of the sector. So a lot of times when they ask, how do you generate these ideas? I rub minds with the old philosophers. So mindset to profitability. There's a mindset. You know, they say success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. There is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing you want to do that someone has not, tread that path before. They may not have done what you want to do 100%, but some people have started somewhere. You can always leverage. A key word for me in this sector is leverage. The mindset to profitability is for you to ask, what can I leverage? Not what can I start? What can I leverage? What, and I will say this, what has been abandoned? What has government invested in that has been abandoned? That's one. Two, what project has failed? Because there's this bandwagon effect in Nigeria. I think through 2019, 2019, I was at the airport, I was traveling out, and one of my neighbors called me, and he said he also was in the airport, and he said, oh, when he returns, he wants to see me. He would like to invest over 300 million, he's a politician, over 300 million into agriculture. So I asked him, because he was very clear about the figure. I asked him, why do you want to invest 300 million? He said, oh, my friend just invested over 150 million. So just imagine if you go and set up a business around two people who don't have value for money, they are likely to give you a little challenge because they will rush in and they will rush out. So there's a mindset that you must embrace to profitability. And the most important for now, this mindset change, but I'm just picking one because of my time, is you must be able to differentiate between agribusiness, A-G-R-I-C, that's why I circled the C, agribusiness versus agri, A-G-R-I. The C is missing below, the C is up. In Nigeria of today, what we have is agribusiness. If you miss this concept, you're not likely to be fulfilled in this sector. You're not likely to make as huge amounts of money available that you can tap into, because most of what we do, most of what we see, especially youth today, we see what's happening in Europe, in the US, in Asia, and we want to copy and adapt. And most times it leads to frustration. Why? Because what we adopt needs to be adapted here. You adopt and adapt. If you don't adapt, you won't have the template. So you see tomato giving you 40 tons, 50 tons. You see it in Spain, you see it in the US. They do soil tests. A stone throw, every look and cranny, they can carry out soil tests. We don't have that here. You have to adapt. we don't have the right fertilizers, like you would want to. So you may find out that the same seed, there's a particular variety, UC82B, in Europe, they've not planted that variety in about 30 years. So that means a 30-year-old farmer does not know the variety, but they produce the variety for us in Africa. It is one of our leading varieties in Africa. It gets 20 tons in Europe, anywhere in Netherlands, anywhere in the Europe, 20 tons. But if you get it in Nigeria, you would probably get 10, 12 tons. It's basically because some of the nutrients that is required, we don't have it. But for 10 tons here, you've made good profit. At least that's like 30, 40% return on investment, at that 10 tons. And if you plant it off season with the use of irrigation, the numbers will be going higher. So you need to understand that anything you want to do must be adapted. You adopt and you adapt. If you are clear on this, you're on the pathway to leveraging agribusiness success. So one of the hindrances or one of the mindsets to profitability is what I call die alone syndrome. Die alone syndrome. And what is die alone syndrome? You want to do everything. You want to make all the money. You want to, you see, they tell you tomato is selling, corn is selling. You now try to do everything at the same time. You're likely to have issues. Another component of die alone syndrome is that instead of you bringing 2, 3, 4, I appeal to you. I used to be a youth. So if I tell you I started when I was in Form 1, which you call JS1 now, it tells you how long I've been in it. Just 1 year since 1987, that I've not been in agriculture, 1 year actively. So I have a lot of knowledge with what the youth goes through, and I've graduated, to where I am today, to being one of the industry leaders in the country and across West Africa. So you must be able to collaborate with people. So I tell you, even if you have access, so don't let me mention figures that may scare you, but okay, let's say you have 500,000 naira that you want to invest, or you have access to it. I always tell people, why don't you find 5 people with 100,000 naira each? So you collaborate and engage in maybe production or whatever you want to do. That way, you have de-risked your project by 400,000. So if anything happens, it's 100,000 for 5 people, and so you still have 400,000. So it's crucial that you know how to de-risk agribusiness so that you can get the best out of it. Second of it is what I call calculator farming. And many people also get into this trap because on paper, it looks good. You press the calculator, 2 times 2, 4 plus 8 minus 5 raised to power 10. Just gives you a lot of money, and you feel, bam. The youths today will say, "Mofe blow," as in I want to blow. Before it used to be, I want to hammer. Hammer takes a lot of work. Now they want to blow, or after they make the money, they want to japa. Meaning they want to leave the country. So bottom line is that what you calculate on paper can be real, in real life scenario, but there is a process to it. So people get carried away with the calculation and forget that in between the reality of getting the cash is some work that needs to be done. And not just some work, some strategic work and a lot of scenario planning. What is scenario planning? Scenario planning is when you look at outcomes. If I do this, what will happen? If I do that, what will happen? For you to be successful in agribusiness in Nigeria, you must pay attention to planning different scenarios. What if the vehicle does not come? What if Mama Loja dies, and you can't take your produce to the market? What if there's COVID? COVID now has changed the scenario in planning. So you need to play out scenarios, not just, oh, there's a demand and let me meet the supply. So this figure, because I know many of us are youth, 2016 to 2020, this administration said they brought out this data, published it, it's online also, to tell us where demand, supply. So what we did was to calculate the opportunity. One thing you need to know about government across board, I'm not discrediting government, I speak with all sense of responsibility, but in business, you look for loopholes that you can leverage. So government, most times, there's always a narrow focus. They want to fix something and they want to fix it. In trying to fix it, they don't look at all the loopholes. So most government projects are geared towards impact. They want to ensure that there's food in the country. They want to ensure that there's jobs in the country, but it may not be entrepreneurially viable. Do you get? So one of the opportunities is when government says everybody should go and plant rice, you should be looking at, okay, I'm not planting rice. Let me look at the value chain of rice. Do I want to sell seed? Do I want to sell agrochemicals? Do I want to rent tractors? Instead of going to do what they ask you to do, because that's where everybody will rush to, and the bank will want to expect. So when you look at this, so we calculated the opportunity here. Rice, we're told we produce demand is 6.3. We produce 2.3. So there's 4 million metric tons, wheat, maize, yams. So if you look at it all the way, these are the figures they release to us. So meaning we still need to produce about 60 million birds for us to be food secure. We need to produce 3.5 million for oil palm, for cocoa. All these are opportunities. Let me say this at this point. There is nothing you can think of. Just close your eyes and think of anything that you want to produce or a service you want to offer. Anything you want to do in Nigeria's agriculture, the vacuum is there, waiting for somebody to just do it faster, better, cheaper. Faster, better, cheaper. Faster, better, cheaper. Or faster, higher quality and delivery and better delivery. Faster, higher quality and better delivery. So there's a market for cheaper and there's a market for higher quality. You just need to know which market you want to play in. And as I tell you, Gari, which we call the common man's food, has always been exceptionally expensive. I think about 3 years ago at what's the place again? Trade fair. One man was coming from Ghana, bringing pick-up loads of Gari from Ghana, selling, almost every other day. In 1 week, they went 3 times to Ghana to bring Gari to sell. People were queuing up to buy the Gari from Ghana. You know how many borders they've crossed by road to come to Nigeria, and yet we will say, Gari is cheap. The man does have a variety of Gari that the cassava variety is a bit whitish. And that's what people want. People were buying. So there's nothing you can think of that there's no market. You just have to look at how you make it happen. So I did the calculation. So when you see that opportunity, which is the last column that would be to your left, so for us to produce rice, the deficit of about 4 million metric tons, we need 1 million hectares. So these figures are very conservative, extremely conservative. So we need 1 million hectares. We will spend about 5 billion naira on seeds. The agrochemicals, the insecticides, the herbicides, that's what you use to take care of insects, bad insects. Because they are good insects, they are bad insects. Good insects are the bees. They pollinate, so they help you get your harvest. The bad ones put disease or eat up your crops. 30 billion naira. Fertilizer, about 52 billion naira. Tractor services, meaning you're renting tractors. you set up a business to rent tractors to farmers. That tractor service, 20 billion naira will go into paying you or paying the people offering the service to cultivate 1 million hectares. And 40 million liters of diesel would go into that tractor operating to cultivate that. And that goes for tomatoes, So when you're talking about business opportunity and ideas, this table shows you how much is going to go into the agri sector, not how much is currently being spent. This is the gap that federal government is trying to take advantage of. And for me, when I use these slides, the nylon column is something that draws my attention. And the nylon column, if for oil palm, because it's about 150 stands per hectare, you use about, for every oil palm, every cocoa, every cashew must be first planted in a nylon before transplanted to the field. So between oil palm and cocoa, 4.7 billion naira will be spent on nylon. So I normally would tell people, why don't you start looking in that direction? Very crucial. Yeah, so when I sum this up, this is the figure land for this between rice, tomato, oil palm, cocoa, 2.4 million hectares of land will be utilized. I didn't add the amount of money they will use to clear each hectare. 1 hectare is 15 plots, which is 1 football field. That's 2.5 acres. So what that means is that the amount of money, if you know somebody, in fact, another idea, because as I speak and as the ideas come, I will be sharing it. So, you can be an agent. If you say, oh, I don't have money, I'm poor, my parents are poor, I come from a deprived background, you can be an agent. What is your job? You see they want to clear whatever there's a need there, you go to where you can find it and bridge the gap and get a commission. Agency, starting that agency is going to be big money now. Many people can't sell. We created a platform, I'll share it if I forget, remind me, where if you're at zero level, that's where you should start. Trading energy, which is finding out what somebody wants and selling. I used to do that. My business crashed in Ekiti in 2002. I lost everything. And I came back. I had to come back to Lagos. So I had to go to Ibadan. I trained to rear bees. So my coach just passed on, and the rural farmers needed him. He was the one marketing their honey. So I went to them in Ijaye, in Ibadan, and I was going to take their honey on credit, bring it to Lagos on Monday. They'll give me credit. I'll go to the bank. Then it was STB, Standard Trust Bank, now UBA. I'll go there, package the honey, put a good label on it, and look for women with spots or pimples, because women cherish their faces a lot. So I'll go to them and say, madam, and which you need to develop skills, sales skills, or let me just say communication skills. So I just say, madam, do you know there's a natural product that will not, affect your skin when you apply it on your face and you make your face smooth? And, you see all this, they smile, they are happy, and, they say, okay, what's the product? I say, it's also natural. What's the product? And it's something very affordable. I push them to a point and I'll say, well, I say, oh, it is raw honey from Ijaye. And they bought. And so every Saturday, I go take the honey, come back Sunday, sell, and on Friday, I send it back to them. So integrity is very. When you're looking at, I speak to production because COVID and post-COVID, because there's still COVID out there, post-COVID and current recession, we are in and out of recession. We need to look at our comparative advantage. And that's how you should be. The cap you must put on is, what is my comparative advantage? I beg your pardon. What can I leverage? What can I do? You know, what is in your hand? Let me put it that in English. What is in my hand? And in Nigeria, we have ranking in all this. We have cassava and yam. We are still the first in the world. Sweet potato that, you know, we're not really commercializing it that much. We're number 2. These are FAO, that's Food and Agriculture Organization data. Pawpaw, I can, you know, vouch that many of us on this platform has not seen 10 football field of pawpaw or papaya plantation, because it grows everywhere, you know. And if we have a ranking, it means that what if we now do well? Most of the pawpaw we eat comes from Edo State. That's why in Lagos, you won't find crunchy pawpaw, because they have to harvest it almost half ripe. By the time it goes through the bad road, it gets to Lagos, it's ripening and it's soft. For planting, you would hardly see mega plantain plantations. If you go to Honduras, Costa Rica, and Co, even Ghana, you will see plantain. Cameroon, Burkina Faso. I went to one in Burkina Faso. I was like, wow. There's one in Ghana, about 25,000 acres banana, and they export everything. So pineapple and mango. There's a company in Ghana called Blue Skies. Blue Skies twice a year. I've been there. Blue Skies twice a year. Take a cargo plane, a cargo aeroplane to Argentina and Mexico to go and buy mango, bring it back, dice it. And so when you see Tesco, for people who are privileged to travel to the UK, what you see there is from Ghana. It can happen. You need a good vision to be able to do that. Yeah, so when it comes to things that you can get involved in, we can look at seeds, fertilizers, insecticides, tractors. This, I would encourage that you look into this. Why? Because before people go and farm, they must buy this. So they paid you. Either climate changes or climate does not changes, it will reduce your inflow next year. But bottom line, you've made your money here. And this is easy because when it comes to trading, you can push that. You are all on social media now, and your phones that currently most phones are liabilities, not all. I believe a chunk of people here, if we are an exception because you are out here for knowledge instead of doing social media. So I believe your phones should be something you can use. And you don't even need to buy this seed, this fertilizer. You only need pictures. I still do it. At my level, I still do it. I'm a seed distributor for about three major companies, and we add agrochemicals to it, but we don't stock agrochemicals. So what do? We know when they come to buy seeds, they say, so we have a display, a very beautiful display of seed agrochemical shelf. So when you say, oh, you want agrochemicals, if you call before you, it's okay, what quantity, what size of land, we advise you. So we say, okay, make the payment. So when you make the payment, we just order for the agrochemicals, use your money to buy it. And by the time you're coming to pick your seeds, your agrochemicals is ready. We only have a show glass. If you are privileged to come to our office, it's just a show glass. So you can just take the picture, put it on your DP, and become a sub-distributor. In the area, this area also is crucial. People need breeders. You know, people need breeders. Most of the reasons why we don't have our livestock do very well is because of inbreeding, meaning like brother-sister crossing. You know, the genes will not develop well. So we need people who will go into this, and really all these things can be learned and trained. You can be trained in that. And I believe New Nigeria Foundation also should look into this because it's a major entry point for every body across the country, north, south, east, west. Yeah, hydroponics and vertical farming. Yeah, I'm mentioning this because I know as youths, we are more inclined to the tech and co, but the general saying is all that glitters is not gold. It is beautiful, is it profitable? For it to be profitable, you need a scale. You need a big size project for it to be profitable. And because it's not just for you to get the ideas, it's more important for you to get the accurate information so you don't get hyped on, oh, hydroponics, vertical farming, greenhouse farming. It sounds good. It reduces the number of land that you use. But guess what? At the end of the day, is it profitable? What's happening to over 70% of the greenhouses in this country is abandoned. Many of you will not know that. So, but out of every adversity comes a greater or equal opportunity, provided you can get it. So what's the opportunity? The opportunity is that the best greenhouses should be made from bamboo. The best greenhouses should be made from thick tree, the one they use for NEPA poles. They don't absorb heat. By 9 a.m. during the dry season, aluminum poles are hot. They emit heat. The heat causes flower abortion. Those poles are not meant for this environment. We don't have the challenges they have in Spain. It's cold in Spain. It's hot at some time, it's cold. No matter how cold it is, it doesn't freeze up. The cold in the north is something else anyway. So when a southwesterner goes to the north, it's as if you go to another country, especially December, January, you will think that's the best of cold until you visit UK or US and you find out that northern cold is just child's play. So bottom line is that let's work with what will work. Currently, you don't find anybody selling bamboos. Bamboo is wasting across Southwest. You don't find anybody using bamboos for these greenhouses. So, little knowledge, you can begin to sell bamboos. And let me just push this in. So let me just say this. The bamboo, the ideas are, as it comes, I just shoot it out. So 2015, there was a ban or restriction of dollar on many products. There's this Chinese man at Ojota. When you're coming from, let's say you're traveling, you're coming from Ojota, before Maryland, there's this long bridge. Just before climbing that bridge, there's a factory by the right. Chains of factories that corner. The man was exporting wood. Wood became illegal, and he found out that CBN said they would not be giving money for importation of toothpicks. So the Chinese man was irritated that how would we be importing toothpicks to Nigeria? And he found out that it was real. So he spent about 4 million to bring equipment. He makes toothpicks from bamboo. He gets suppliers from bamboo. The suppliers probably cut it in the bush, in Oshun, in Oyo, in Ekiti, and loads for the man, and he produces toothpick for us. These are things we can do, Now, so crop production. Currently in Nigeria, we don't have enough of anything. Corn has gotten out of hand. Corn is over 200 naira per kilo. We need you to go back to like 50, 60 naira. Tomato, name it. Anything you eat is expensive now. And I put a word of caution, because there's a demand does not mean it's your opportunity. Because there's a demand does not mean it's your opportunity. You have to do some assessment. What are you wired for? Do you know your temperament? When you're coming to agribusiness, you should come to agribusiness with your temperament first. If you are a sanguine, somebody who's an extrovert, you should be looking at marketing and sales. You'll do better there than trying to do production. If you're a phlegmatic, someone very quiet, they can leave you in a seat in the morning and come back in the evening and meet you there. You can do production successfully, especially livestock. So you look at your temperament. If you don't know what temperament is, go online and check temperament tests. There are a lot of free ones online. Do it. But when it comes to crop, now in crops also, there are various value chains in crop. It's not just plant corn, harvest to corn, to sell as dry corn. I play in the sweet corn value chain now. I've been producing corn for about 21 years now. I produce close to 300 acres corn at a time. I do irrigation. I love irrigation farming. I mostly like doing what people cannot go into. Not that I can't go into, but around here we don't like stress. So I will pay that extra price for us to get premium market share. So you must just look at end to end. Don't plant corn because corn is expensive. You want to plant corn to sell to people who make ogi, because there are some people now specializing in dry corn, dry ogi, dry pap, akamo. I don't know what they call it in other climate, but akamo, ogi, anyway, cocoa. So there are special corn. There's vitamin A corn. Now there's high protein corn. Corn is not corn again. That's where science comes in now. Agribusiness is more now about 95% science and 5% labor. So which type of corn do you want to produce? For what market? Then how do you want to produce it? And I'll share this story. I think it was 2010, 9. I produced corn 150 acres with irrigation dry season. We brought some to Lagos to sell, and they didn't buy. And so we were like, why won't you buy? I was farming in Ekpe before. And so in Ekpe, we would produce all year round, people will buy. So we went to scale it up. So as we went to scale up, we didn't pay attention to the fact that it is Ekpe, Ikorodu, Badagry that the people are used to seeing corn all year round. So, but we now went to produce 150 acres, and they told us, I met the shock of my life. They told us that I must have sacrificed somebody's life, which is blood, to grow the corn. The buyers are to do Elegba. And so the shock of my life was they did not buy. And we used diesel. And just remember the scenario. When you borrow money to go do that kind of thing, and they tell you that you did human sacrifice, like, really? But that landed me into a lot of debt. So you must know who will buy, what variety, what time should you plant, what kind of soil. So you need some knowledge, which I believe in Nigeria Foundation, will put something together. So it's not just for you to come for this, it's for you to stay and get the knowledge such that you can excel. Nobody excels without a teacher. A teacher must teach you. Somebody good that has gone ahead of you must teach you. And New Nigeria Foundation has done fantastically well over the years. Yeah, so in the area of livestock, I know everybody is talking about Ruga, herdsmen, So I want to challenge you as a youth in this country. Anytime they talk about herdsmen, anytime they talk about Ruga, don't join them to say, it is the people from this part of the country. Yes, who is an exemplary youth? An exemplary youth is someone that can answer tomorrow's questions today. I am, with all humility, I am an industry captain today because I answered today's questions yesterday. So to everything they are talking about today, I had resolved it 3, 4, 5 years back. So everybody's reality today is now becomes my past. So I would always be relevant as long as I'm learning. So the opportunities will be there. This issue cannot continue forever. It would either they take ranching or they confine them to an area, but they will need to buy food. That is why, even if you contribute to the talking, make sure money is coming to your pocket. Climate change is going to make the northern part of the country need grass. So we need, southwest, north central, the eastern part of the country. They are the ones that should be producing food. The US government trained me in Colorado on how to set up agri-cooperatives. And that's the US Department of Agriculture. And I found out that in Colorado, about 40% of the farmers only grow grass. They don't grow, they grow grass. That's all they do. They grow grass with irrigation. Just imagine if they grow grass. And even the rain, and they irrigate. The rain there every year is less than 12 inches. So Even corn cannot grow, you can't complete the cycle. So you need to look at the poultry, sheep, grass, is very, very crucial. So all these rules, don't join the elderly ones, with all sincere apologies to the elderly ones here who have some bias. The elderly ones in the country have been trained with bias. The youths of today are global citizens. There's no bias there. There's no, it's from Ijebu, it's from Oderemo, it's from Epe. Epe is different from Ikorodu. You younger ones don't have that privilege of bias. So it's time for you to leverage. You don't have those poisons inside of you. So when they're talking, look at opportunity, because some people will still make this money. Technology. The youths want it techie. And so you can have it techie, but understand that tech now does not pay the money. Tech does not pay the money. It's fancy, it's good, but ask them, let them show you the numbers. So don't forget I said, adopt and adapt. If you look at this now, this man is adopting 2 technologies or 3. There's irrigation farming. They're using drone, probably to check where needs fertilization, and they have ducks there to eat the pests that will eat the rice. So it must be adapted. It must be adapted. So if you want to look at models to learn, India, Malaysia, Asia generally, they have our system. And so if you want to copy, don't copy Europe, don't copy US, copy Asia. So one of the things that you can do now that helps you is to get into the Agora schemes. Agora schemes, is better for you to start with OPM, other people's money. And so what do I mean by OPM? So somebody gets an Agora scheme, so they fund seed, fertilizer, chemical, and co. Just join so that you can be part of it. You can learn the ropes. When you learn the ropes, you can raise your money because you can say you have experience. There's how to raise funding also, which time will not permit me. Currently in the country, we have a challenge of a value addition. Government will not have a choice but to fund this. I know New Nigeria Foundation has worked on some processing value chain over the years, but now the future is now, and the youth would say thank you, sir, if we can get back to this value addition. Because with climate change now, with the rains not coming, what that means is that what used to go to waste will not be wasted again. So we need to maximize, and cottage is the way to go. Something small, you're willing to relocate to one bush, something very small, modular, something small. All these ones are too techy. The more techy it is, the more you depend on foreigners for equipment. But the smaller it is, the more a Kasali or Chinedu by the roadside can just put spanner, or you know how they do it. Just, Ogami will try this wire. They will just put another wire on it and it stays. So there is that ingenuity here also. Now, marketing, I spoke about marketing. As everybody is rushing into agriculture now, there's going to be gluts very soon. And it's going to be artificial. And they need markets. We're creating a platform where, people will post their products. You can matchmake and make good money. Just look out. So collaboration is also very good. Let me be a bit fast. So this is very crucial. This is a fundamental mistake people make. They think, I have money, I need money. Money is the least resource you need to be successful in agriculture. And I repeat, money is the least resource you need to be successful in agriculture. If money is all you need, name the big names. Name the big names. To 2019, I met 4 people. Between the 4 people, they had lost 1.8 billion naira in agri. And they told me they don't even know where the money went because they used it in bulldozer clearing, tractor clearing, salaries. They can't find the money. So money is not what you need. You need market first and now work it back. I mentioned this a bit before, but let me touch opportunity fever. And what is opportunity fever? Opportunity fever is government says cassava, and everybody runs to cassava. You know, when you have fever, you can't wait, you know, to get treated. So opportunity fever, you know, is when there's an opportunity and everybody is trying to take advantage. You should not look at it from that place. So you need to understand. You need to understand the psychology of the rural people, because agri is mostly for rural people. In terms of, when I say rural people, I mean the operational environment. If you want to begin to market or distribute, you have to go to the village to distribute. The closer the farm to the urban center, the more they won't need you, except you are into logistics. You know, there's a huge gap where we need vehicles. In fact, we need more educated people to go into buying, you know, get somebody who has a boss, tell them, you know, negotiate a deal with them, and you can get this farm produce. It is the uneducated people that control that sector. So there was an instance, I'm not sharing so much story because of time. I want to get a lot. There was an instance where we harvested 70 bags of watermelon, cucumber in Shepeteri, in Shaki, and we paid this boss man who was supposed to come from Oyo. He called us, I'm coming. Oh, 2 hours later, I'm almost there. You know, I'm there in like 30 minutes. So we had bagged it. 5, we were waiting for the guy. 9 p.m., we left the farm. The next morning, he didn't come again. When we called him again, when he eventually picked his phone the next morning, he said we should send our account number. He wants to refund our money, but heat had affected the cucumbers, and there was 2 bosses, so we lost it all. We need educated people to come into this value chain. This is big. You know, yes, there's this saying that, oh, the bus drivers will drive you nuts, they will cheat you. But if the buses are positioned with cooperatives, then you can track going and coming. This is crucial. If you can open an agency that helps people get farm labor is making people cry, you know. So you can go to Benin Republic, do some negotiations, and get it done. Let me skip this. So what do you need, you know, to be efficient, to do well? You need good quality seeds. You need your labor to be efficient. You need cash flow sustainability, meaning there's a model that must work for you. The leading companies, Obasanjo, Premier Seed, Obasanjo Farms, Chief Farms, Ajala Farms, Animal Care, the ones that make Fontona eggs, all of them do eggs. There's a major thing you know them for, but they're all trading. You must trade if you will be sustainable here, and reduce your startup overheads. Don't come and set up your processing in the urban center when your raw material is in the village. Let's look at what Dangote does. Dangote does not move the raw material for cement to Lagos. No, it produces there and moves to Lagos. And so this is a key area, because a lot of things are wasting. So instead of you to go and reinvent the wheel to go and plant, what you need to do is look at commodity versus brands. What do I mean by commodity? What do I mean by commodity? So what you see here are commodities. Tomatoes. You plant tomato, it comes out fine. These are commodities. You sell it like others are selling. These are brands. Captain here is a Nigerian brand. They just blend tomatoes together. It's in ShopRite. So you need to move from just raw material to brands. This cherry tomatoes, these are things that once you add that value, what's the difference here? Plastic. You put it in plastic and it's true. Like tomatoes, okay, I don't have it here. Tomatoes that come from Ghana, there was a point, there was a period in time where tomatoes from Ghana, till July, August now, Burkina Faso, Mali, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon will all be bringing tomatoes to Nigeria. And it will be the first to sell out and the most expensive. Why? Because they package in particular baskets. So when the buyers see it, the hotels, the big boys, that's what they want. That quality is what they want. So branding, even if though it's raffia basket is branding, at some point in time, when it comes from Ghana, it's from a like a plastic, a wood frame. And so we will produce in Nigeria the same quality, same seed, pack it in that box and go and sell it at Ghana price. So we make more money on that. This is how, look at to your right now, how banana is being transplanted, and look at to the left, it's still local way, still a local way of doing it. But guess what? This is what you see in ShopRite and Co. By the way, this banana you see here is what is called dwarf Cavendish. It's the one they sell in Ore. You call Ore banana. Ore banana is the same banana they eat in Europe. They eat in US. Same father, same mother. It's called dwarf Cavendish. It's everywhere in Nigeria, but the handling is different. It's just handling. So this is proper Nigeria. This is the same banana. So look at this. The same banana that man is putting water. Can you see how big it is? It's the same, but it's Okada that we will use here. Somebody needs to look into that business. And look at behind the girl. You'll see the banana really did well. So if you want to, come into that value chain, it's just handling. I used to take banana when I was serving in Jigawa and Kano. In Jigawa, I would take plantain from Ijaye in Oyo State, ripen it in Ibadan, and move it through the night buses, rent a bus to Lagos, move it from night buses to Kano. And Kano, I sell half at the cafeterias, what you call buka, and sell the remaining in Jigawa. I always made sure that it was end of the month when they were going to pay coppers. Coppers in every part of every country are not indigenous of that place. So plantain is what everybody craves for, and the weather does not support. So what can you bring from south to east, east to west? I will take smoked fish from Adija Jamari. There's a market in Jigawa, Adija Jamari, and come and sell in Oyigbo. It's cheaper. So what can you do? What can you trade? Trading is good money. So packaging, just make sure it looks a bit better. So look at this now. This is how they transport. This is even better than how we transport it in Nigeria. But if you add value to it, this is Blue Sky, the brand I told you about. They sell this here, they sell this abroad. So the value chain is here. Grass will sell. Grass will sell. Southwest, the people, we that have gone ahead of many of the youth, and I'm still a youth at heart, we not leverage opportunity. These goats that you see, that is the Asun. During Audu, the last Minister of Agriculture, there was a delegate from UAE, United Arab Emirates, to come and see how we can be selling goat milk on a commercial scale to them. And the Minister of Agriculture from Russia also came, who was looking at us exporting the meat. What we don't pay attention to here. Milk will sell, grass will sell, beef will sell, but they are value chains. All these are value chains. Like in Colorado, I learned something there. So for the people in dairy, specialization is key. You must specialize. In the beginning, it may be a bit difficult. So get 3-4 people to do something in the value chain that you're not doing. What do I mean? So there's someone who comes, when they are pregnant, that's when they milk a lot. So immediately they calve, that's when they, give birth. Somebody's business is to come and take those calves away for 6 to 7 months, feed them, fatten them, get them pregnant, and return them. Some people will not get them pregnant to return. No, they will only fatten them, return. Somebody else takes them, makes them pregnant, and return them. There's a lot of value chain in this business, but you need to, for sustainability here, because we've not developed, we don't have structures, you may have to have 5 people that you are doing maybe dairy, but doing various aspects of it, and it will be sustainable. Grass will sell. Grass will sell. In the north, in the dry season, you won't find grass anywhere. Even in the dry season in Southwest and there's grass. We should not be fighting each other. We have no business fighting each other. Fulani is not the problem for the West, for the East. Igbo is not, the spare part doesn't matter. When we were trading together, and this is what the youth need to get, when Nigeria was trading together, when we were selling cocoa, cola nuts to the northerners, when we were buying their granite oil, when palm oil was taken from the east to the north, to the southwest, when we were trading together, we were together. Nobody fights their business partners. What we need to be preaching, for Nigeria to be together is we need to be trading together. Enough of this nonsense around North, East, South, South, East, West. No, we stopped trading together. When we were trading together, we were not fighting. We had differences, but we could manage it. So let's learn to manage. Oil palm, I won't go into this. Soursop. Soursop is big deal now. It's big anti-cancer product, and we need it. The company I mentioned that goes to Mexico to get mangoes still need mangoes. We don't have mango juice in this country, fresh raw mango juice, and yet mango is wasting in Ogbomoso, Kogi, Benue. In fact, 4 years ago, and I hope I'm not too fast for you, I just want to cover a lot. You can rewatch it. In fact, my brother-in-law came from Israel, and the Israel researchers asked him to get seeds of cherry mango. Israelis, they want to raise a variety that will be fleshier and bigger. And guess what? We'll now be importing the juice again. But it's there. There's a company, if you reach out in Burkina Faso, a cooperative, they export dry mango. They have huge demands. They do about €1 million per year, but they don't have enough now. And so distribution in Lagos is big business for you to distribute food. During COVID lockdown, it was very clear that distribution network poor. Mechanization, to be sustainable in this country, we don't need all those big tractors. This tractor is what we need. It's called two-wheel tractor. This is what we need. Some people's job, you can go do it for people, and this is big. This is where we are missing it in the country. We go for what Europe is running away from, what the Americans are running away from. They are looking at something smaller, but we are running to what they are running from. This equipment will help you plow, which is turn the soil, harrow, which is smothering the soil, ridge, also as a component for irrigation, and you can ride it like a vehicle. So import, export, you can do that also, but export is not sustainable if you don't have consistency in supply, in the quality of your supply. So same quality that you can get for a number of months. A friend of mine, senior friend of mine, supplies food to EU, this peacekeeping, and he went to Walmart, and Walmart told him, that they wanted him to add catfish. What is it again? Where you remove all the bones, I have catfish fillet. They want him to supply 100 stores every month, and he will not default in 2 years. He turned it down there and then because he won't get consistency in quality. So there are huge opportunities, both local and export. There are many people who don't want bones in their fish that will take advantage of that. And storage, warehousing is huge. Warehousing is huge. And so warehousing is not, you get a big warehouse, beans, one room. If you go to the north, there's no silo that they are keeping beans. It's one room. When I was 7 in Jigawa, NYSC mandated me. Well, they found I was doing like 4 different businesses doing NYSC. And they mandated me to go around the 27 local governments in Jigawa to teach them on beekeeping value chain. And because I had traveled to many of those cities, I now encourage many corporates to go into storage. If you are in NYSC or you served somewhere and you say you don't have a job, my brother, my sister, get back to where you served, especially if it's the North. The North is the best place to be in this country in agribusiness. Beans will come out, it will be expensive. Reedy, that's sesame seed, Benin seed. When it comes out, they are all very cheap. So when they are cheap, buy and store. The Modu, which is like a container, they use a measurement, is always very cheap. And so the more you buy and store, you store in a room, you put one tablet in it, and you are good to go. There's so much that can be done. I have a very brief time. I think I've short my time, I'm sorry. And I say thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. I will take questions now.
Thank you so much, African Farmer, for the rich and very detailed presentation. It's obvious that you're very passionate about what you do and you're very well informed, very informative. Thank you so much. Yes, there are lots of opportunities, you said, in Nigeria, but then there's a good question. The big question is, do you know your temperament? And you said opportunities will always be there in Nigeria. And another thing you said was that nobody excels without a teacher. So we all need a teacher. And then you also said that the youth are global citizens. So the youth, you are global citizens. Another thing that was quite informative was that you said money is not the is not the greatest resource, but marketing.
Yeah.
And another thing you said that is, if we want to copy, that we should copy from India, Malaysia, and Asia, and not Europe. Yeah. So the youth, I hope you're listening. And also value addition is very important, and branding. Thank you very much. So now we've come to the question and answer session. We have about 30 minutes for this session. And so please, if you have any question, just signify by raising your hand, and then I would call you. Any questions for African Farmer? Okay, let me start by, I have two questions from Mr. Kelvin. And the first one is, can you advise on the proper way to approach irrigation farming? Can you advise on the proper way to approach irrigation farming? And then his second question was, how can Nigerian farmers benefit from the incoming continental market courtesy of the AFCFTA?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the approach to irrigation farming is, the topography, where you are, determines the type of irrigation to embrace. So if you are in Ekiti, take for instance, that has many hills and drip irrigation may not work. Drip is like a tube that the water drops, except you have a flat land, drip may not work. However, there are also some other drips that you can align with the contour of the hills. But mostly down south, you will use what is called rain gun. Rain gun, sprinkles water around, but it's not the ideal sprinkler. You have it on a tripod stand. And also the crop you want to plant. If you grow vegetables under rain gun and you don't, so there's a way to technically maneuver it also. So because it brings out a lot of heavy water, the pressure is high, it will kill almost all the vegetables. But if you now use a stronger pump for a smaller equipment, it shoots the water farther, so it works. But the topography and the crop you want to plant will determine the irrigation system that you must embrace. But don't go looking for any big irrigation. Irrigation is cheap now. If you start with what you have, efficiency is better, or efficiency and productivity is better than just production. So what that means is that if you have irrigation on one plot of land, it's better than 5 plots of land that you want to cover. So it's crucial that the crop you want to plant and the topography and your source of water. So some people will have well and they want to do rain gun. It doesn't work. You need stream that does not dry to do rain gun, but you can use well for drip irrigation. So your source of water, the crop, and the topography, very crucial. Then the African continental thing is still a mirage. Nigeria is not positioned. Why do I say we're not positioned for that? We don't have the infrastructure that Ghana has. Togo, Benin Republic, we don't have the certifications that they have. We don't have those structures ready. So when you're talking about this this program, I call it program. This program, the people with the global certifications and structures would have more advantage than us. They can move their product here. We cannot move out. We don't have the structures. We cannot export, for instance. We don't have cooling systems. We still work during the day. In Benin Republic, they work overnight. In Ghana, they work overnight to make sure these things move out. I know of one man, a Nigerian, a partner of ours. He would take food through road to Benin Republic and fly it to France and Belgium. But they cannot do it in Nigeria because they will not work at night. So a lot of things have to change for us to be able to take advantage of that. For now, and sadly, foreigners are going to West African countries because they have the certification and the structure and the system to invest there, and we're likely to become a dumping ground or pull out of that agreement. But for now, it's still a beautiful thing, not practical.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. I hope you got all that. Do I have any other questions? Well, there's a question for New Nigeria Foundation. It says, please, are there affordable training opportunities from New Nigeria Foundation, especially on value chain area? Well, let me just say that the essence of this webinar is actually to see how we can link people up, the youth up to people like African farmer. So that's why we have people like you, so that you can mentor the youth. So I hope that answers that question. We're just trying to see how we can link you up to, link the youth up to people like African farmer. Any other questions? Mr. Ovier, sorry.
Yes.
You have a question?
Yes. Yes, I have a question. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for your exposition. It's highly informative. Thank you so much. I happen to work with youth. I'm a youth leader. I was trained by the United Nations Office for Development and Peace. And I know that this resource, you can't just get it from just 2-3 years experience. You must get it from a whole, 20-something years of experience. Thank you so much, sir. I'm very much interested in the aspect of cooperative formation, because it's one of the things that has been identified as a veritable tool to build finance, especially for small scale households or individuals. So I would like you to throw more light on building cooperative financing, especially as a means for sustainable agriculture among youths. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So even there's currently a funding that is available for youth. It's 250,000 to 3 million with well, zero collateral. The collateral is the amount of money. It's 10% of the money you want to receive. That also is available. Most in the country, most of those funds come in. The banks, use it to buy for their good balance sheets and keep it for 3 years, and they take the money back, but they use it to trade. So there's that funding is also available. But bottom line is, so the cooperative in Nigeria is not. I've spoken to the cooperative authorities. It's still very myopic here, and the rules and policy even makes it myopic. I was shocked. I went to 15 cooperatives in Colorado, the youngest 49 years, and the oldest one 49 years. And I found out that like the ShopRite in Northern Colorado belongs to a cooperative. So cooperatives are meant to be doing business as against just saving money, borrowing money, you know. So there are various business models that cooperatives can go into. So take, for instance, a cooperative sells like the equipment. They sell equipment that you rent from. So like you, United Nations, you know, that means you do a lot of dollars. So, you know, you could put a cooperative together as solutions to various value chain. So take, for instance, I also learned this, the milk, all the farmers that produce milk in Colorado is sold by just 3 cooperatives. 3 cooperatives go around, collect the milk, sell, end of the week, they pay. So cooperatives are not just meant to put money together, take loan, they are meant to profile solutions in the ag sector. But it's a conversation that will go beyond here. It's just to let you know that a cooperative is a business entity, another business model.
We'll surely reach out to you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Probably through the New Nigeria Foundation.
Definitely, that's the route.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question from Olufisayo Alo. And his question is, what do you think about the production and selling of topsoil for urban and home farmers?
Aloy, you just hit gold. You just hit gold. And that's the truth. Because it's something I also want to do, but I'm here and there, but you hit gold. If you let me know, there's a lot of knowledge that I've gone through, research that I've gone through. We can collaborate on that. And collaborate, like I mentioned, collaboration, you know, we can collapse the time for you. I'll probably do the market positioning for you while, you know, you do the job. But selling soil for urban farming, Aloy, you hit gold on New Nigeria Foundation platform.
That's nice, Fisaya Law. Okay, I have 2 questions from Obiora. The first one is, what are the farmers and other stakeholders in the value chain need to do to unlock the opportunities in government agri policy?
Okay.
And then the second one is, do we really need huge capital to be involved in the value chain analysis?
Okay, so I'll take. I understand what the person is saying. So you don't need what you don't have to do what you want to do. You don't need what you don't have. The most important thing that you need is the desire. Once you have the desire propels passion in you, and money always follow passion. Please take that down. That has been my experience. When you speak with passion, people see through you. You are like a mirror. Everybody wants to align with you, you know, because they see that you are going somewhere. So why do I say you don't need money? And I'll cite 2 examples of something I did. My office used to be in Ikeja at the roundabout, close to the hospital, the brick house, a big Bile Holdings. So God bless Igbos. I had this, you know, Igbos are very enterprising. I had this Igbo secretary, and so I traveled to Abeokuta, and also, you know, this snack they put in nylon, this ring, kokoro, you know. So I always had this mindset that if it's plenty in a place, it's scarce in another place. So I now said, okay, can I bring it? So they do 3, and now packet 3 in 1, rebranded it, put a label, put address, and you know, we're doing consulting. God bless her. So she wasn't just cut out for sitting and answering people. So she just said, sir, can I be going around the premises to sell? The Igbo in her find the expression. I said, why not? She was earning 15,000 then, but she would sell 14,500 from the kokoro in one premises, you know. So, and that means I added 500 naira to her salary. So, but it's, and another place in Ogbomoso, they call it Akara Ogbomoso, it's made with beans, no salt, it's healthy really, no salt, but a bit hard. So I now told them, make it a little not that hard. So they're making it for me. And I said, okay, there are many Lagos people don't want to die. You know, so they want to live healthy. So we packaged that one too, rebranded it as K-A-R-A, Kara. And we began to sell it. So I say the power of 20,000 naira. The lower the capital you have, the more energy you put in it. But there's a demand for everything. If it is Okazi leaf that you can bring and be selling in Lagos, sell. But with 20,000, with 30,000, with 50,000, you can start a business in this Lagos. People buy anything, even meat in traffic. So then, farmers with government policy. Farmers are not really coordinated together. We are hoping that the younger generation will bring some science into this. Most government policy is done in good faith, but not good for the farmers because it's always lab to field. What do I mean by lab to field? Some people will sit down and say, oh, we think this is what they need. They don't ask the farmers what they need. So they design projects for the farmers, and so the farmers don't embrace it. So we need policy to merge, but for now, it's another business. Don't forget, any challenge, if you call it problem, anything you raise as problem is an opportunity for you. You are seeing it because you are probably wired for it. You can be that interface, doing research, selling to government, hearing farmers, packaging them online. It's a business. Everything is business. Thank you.
Okay. I have another question from Fabulous Uzobo. It says, okay. Let me just read out her question. It says, sir, you mentioned certification in other African countries like Ghana. Please advise on the ways small farmers in Nigeria can get their farms certified without going through Nigerian administrative government bottlenecks.
Okay, so let me put a balance to that. The government agencies know their job and do their job. I repeat, the government agencies know their job and do their job, but they are not equipped to do their job. They are the best brain anywhere. Then if you go there, they know, but they're not equipped. So when they don't have the car to move, the bike to move, it looks like they don't know the job. So we need to get it right. So reach out to the agencies. Go there to make friends. Go and speak your language there. Don't go and speak English. If you are operating in East, speak Igbo there. If you are going, go and speak your language and they embrace you and they take it as personal thing. They want to help you. They are parents, they are uncles, they are aunts. You know, so don't let us stigmatize government. But the people there want to help. They have knowledge they want to share. They want to see things grow. They also want to say, oh, I'm part of that. So go to them. You will find out that they are not just, they don't have budgets to do publicity. But to get what you want, they will give you what you want. So go there. It's the system that is not working that is making Ghana and co thrive better. But the people there, you would be amazed at how they are willing to support. So go there. The people are working, the system is what is not working. So we must be able to separate it. I hope I answered your question.
Perfectly.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? If there are no other questions, I think we have sapped him enough. So at this point, I would call on Mrs. Bumi Olatunde to give the next steps and wrap up. Thank you very much, African Farmer.
Thank you. I hope I'm free to go now.
Not yet.
Okay, fine, let's go on.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. It's been a wonderful presentation. Of course, I'm Mogaji, and I know that he cannot do anything less than what he has done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My job is very simple. It's just to tell you the next steps and what we'll be doing after this. It's not a talk shop. We don't want to make it a talk shop. So I'm going to be sharing our ideas about things that we want to do. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, I guess it's on. I can't see. Okay, great. So if we go to the next slide, before we started this initiative, NNF did a study, and there were some things we found out. We wanted to know what the challenges of young people were, what were the limiting factors, what were the things that prevented them from venturing into agriculture. And these were the findings. We found out that they had agriculture, and we say, hey, you have a pretty girl. What if a young man comes to marry her and she says, I'm a farmer? Would you be willing to release your... Just a typical example of the kind of perception a lot of people have about. So that was one of the reasons why young people were not interested in going into agriculture. Next slide. There was also, we also noticed that they had limited knowledge about agriculture, particularly the value chain. A lot of people believe that agriculture is just about production. And I'm glad that Mr. African Farmer Mogaji has been able to highlight all of the aspects related to the value chain: transportation, production, distribution, packaging. I particularly loved that, what he showed us about turning raw materials into brands. That was so attractive. And I think that, a lot of young people should, get interested in. There are lots of ideas that we've gotten from his presentation. So there's that mindset, or that erroneous mindset that young people have, that agriculture is just about farming. So we saw that it's important for young people to have more information about agriculture. And then, of course, a lot of people talk about finance. I don't have money to start. And I think someone actually echoed that. And I'm glad that Mr. Mogaji encouraged us that, hey, you just start anyhow. You can start by doing your little beans, akara, or whatever. So, and then you can start by using other people's money. So we would like to, support young people, to link them up with financial institutions and other opportunities where they might be able to get financial support. Next slide, please. Then we also noticed that a lot of people do not have access to markets, which discourage young people. So they've produced all of these tomatoes, and then they're getting spoiled in the farms because there are no markets. So we see that that's a challenge that can be turned into an opportunity. And then a lot of people also are not even aware of the policies. One of the things we want to do, for example, is to bring in the Commissioner for Lagos State. We're already communicating with her to talk about the roadmap, the agricultural roadmap for Lagos State, and see what opportunities young people can have, and what they can explore in that policy. So those are some of the things that we want to do. So having gone through all of the challenges, having realized these challenges that young people are facing, we decided to come up with this program. And this webinar is the first webinar in the series of webinars that we're going to be having. In terms of other things that we're going to be doing, so the webinars will be looking at issues across the value chain. So today we've talked about general opportunities that people can explore. We're going to be looking at production. We're going to be talking, for example, about honey and how you can do your bee farming and honey production. We're going to be talking about packaging. We're going to be talking about branding. So we're going to be looking, and then we're also going to be looking at standardization. I think somebody said something related to that. We're going to be bringing on government officials in the Standards Organization of Nigeria, NAFDAC, and all of that, so that young people can ask them directly. You have access to them directly. You can share your challenges with them. And we also want to bring in successful young people who are already into farming, who are already into all of this agribusiness, who are into agribusinesses and are doing well, to share their experiences. So you know that, hey, if she can do it or if I can do it, then why not? You know, so that would also inspire people. Then we have the mentoring session. Just like Chikodi said, you can be sure that I'm going to chase, or we're going to chase African Farmer Mogaji. As busy as he is, I know he will spare time to mentor some of you. So we're going to be bringing on, linking young people, you know, with mentors like him, who would be able to support young people who are interested in developing their agribusinesses. And then we want to start young. We want to go even as low as the secondary school level by encouraging their interest in agriculture. We're going to be doing some debates. We're going to be doing quiz competitions in secondary schools. You know, so these are some projects that we have already that we intend to do this year. And we hope and trust that this will help us to achieve our goals of stimulating young people's interest in agriculture as well as developing their capacity. So just to wrap up what I'm saying, NNF is establishing an agri-youth network where you have a space for young people. The network will provide a space for young people who are interested in setting up their agribusinesses to develop their technical skills and abilities to manage successful and sustainable agribusinesses. And the objectives will be: 1, to promote youth interest and participation in agriculture; 2, to develop the capacity of youth to set up sustainable agribusinesses; 3, promote capacity building. I know somebody had asked the question about NNF building people's capacity. NNF will be more than willing to do that. So if you link up with us after this program, or you send your contact details in the chat box, we can link up with you and have some more discussions on how that can happen. Then we are also going to be encouraging networking and information sharing among youths who are interested in establishing agribusinesses. We're going to be providing linkages to markets and financial services. And then finally, we're going to be developing a core of youth agri ambassadors that can attract other young people to start their own agribusinesses. I once attended the webinar where they said we should make agriculture sexy. That sounds a bit funny, but you know, that's what it is. You make it more attractive so that young people can replace the old people. You know, now when you talk about a farmer, you have a picture of an old man. Who is going to replace that old man? My grandfather was a farmer. You know, none of us in the family is a farmer, even though maybe I might end up becoming one later on. You know, so those are important things we need to do. So my final plea is, if you're interested in joining the network, or if you know anyone who might be interested in joining the network, please send your name, your email, your phone number into the chat box, and then we can link up with you from there. You can also check us online on our website, and then you can look at all our social media handles. You can link up with us through any of these means. You can also write to us directly at nnfng.org, and then we'll respond to your mail. Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody else has any question. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up. Does anybody else want to say any other thing? Okay, so if we don't have any other comments, I'd like to thank again Mr. Mogaji for spending time from his busy schedule to make this presentation. Thank you very much. We're grateful. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll let you know when we have the next webinar. We will give it enough time, we'll give it enough publicity, and we look forward to your participation then. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you everyone for participating.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye, Nenef.
Bye. Thank you, Katsina. Thank you, Lagos. Thank you, Warri. Thank you, Abuja. Thank you, Kano. Thank you, Jos. Those are a few places that I saw. So thank you, and we look forward to the next webinar. Thank you, and have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.
Bye-bye.